Hey y'all. Oh, I forgot to plug, so we're gonna do that really quickly. Sorry. Gotta mic myself. Forgot to do it. Hi. Love you guys. Better. Hey y'all, how are you doing? I am great. Thank you so much for asking. It's me, Kim. I am back for another live. I'm going to be honest. I'm doing these lives because I'm being lazy. I need to edit so bad. I've been avoiding it, but eventually we'll get back to it. I will say the good news is I have narrowed down my assistant search to 2 people. So that's great. You guys, like literally hundreds of people sent me emails and about being my assistant. What the hell? So that's good. So we're gonna have an assistant by the end of this week. Um, and I wanted to come on here and talk about, oh, I still have glasses. I wanted to come on here and talk about the situation with H&M. So, y'all know that I'm obsessed with discussing Black women and aesthetics. I still have my Invisalign tray in, and I think I'm just going to keep it in because taking it out now would just be too much. So, um, I'm obsessed with talking about Black women and Black girls and aesthetics and the consequences of our appearance and adornment. And so when this H&M thing cropped up, I was like, oh, that's me. That's in my wheelhouse. So I was on Facebook yesterday. Did this all happen yesterday? The internet moves so fast. So I was on Facebook yesterday and I saw a few different people post images of this beautiful chocolate drop brown girl, rosy cheeks on H&M's website. And there were different images of her facing the front, profile, in different poses. And they were all talking about her hair. And it was, do you see this girl's hair? And what are they doing? What's up with her hair? And so I was like, let's investigate. And I did, and I saw H&M's response, and I think that there are two sides to this story. I think that this H&M outrage and then the response to the outrage, it's not as simple and it's not as one-sided as I think a lot of people are trying to make it seem. So let's get into the complexities of this story. Of course, I have my handy dandy notes. Obviously, the girl is gorgeous, and I don't think that criticism, the kinds of criticism of the girl's appearance, is not about the girl, right? And I think it's easy to conflate those two things, but it's different. So I will also say that I'm sure that whoever does PR at H&M is just, they're loving this. They're loving this. So yesterday, H&M, because it gives them so much free publicity, H&M released a response to the backlash to that image, and they said, we truly believe that all kids should be allowed to be kids. The school-age kids who model for us come to the photo studio in the afternoon after school, and we aim for a natural look which reflects that. Okay, I get that. So if this were a typical photo shoot and I saw that little girl's hair, I'd be like, oh no, something went wrong. Absolutely not. Or if it was like my nieces or something and this was just a normal photo shoot, I'd be like, no, let's not do that. But then you compare that girl's hair. I mean, it was just like a messy ponytail. If you compare the little beautiful brown chocolate drops hair to the other girl's hair, it looks like there was a couple of like, I don't know, ethnically ambiguous girls and white girls. Their hair was also all over the place, frizzy, flyaways, just haphazardly thrown up, right? And so when you see it in context, you're like, okay, I understand what you were doing. I understand the aesthetic that you were going for. It one, I'm black, right? So like what white girls and white women do is not my standard. It's not, I have different aesthetic standards and ideals. But if we don't want this little girl to be different, right? She fits right in with the aim that they were going for. And I do think that, like, when we're talking about this little girl and her hair, we do have to be honest. And I think some of the immediate reaction comes from the fact that her hair does look a little bit on the thin side. It is not like the luscious afro that we expect to see on the natural hair pages. Even the 4C natural hair pages, all the hair looks the same. It's super full, huge afro. That's what we celebrate. Even when we say that we are celebrating the kinkier, coilier textures, there is a preferred aesthetic there. And that little girl's hair does not align with what we all in the natural hair community or, natural hair movement, what we have been socialized to prize. So it did look a little different. It did look a little thin. I saw people say her edges looked a little thin. It looked damaged. I mean, I honestly don't know. I have had thin edges since birth. I just, some people are just born like that. Some people just have thin hair, I'm not a hair professional, so I can't say, oh, it looks unhealthy or her hair looks damaged. I don't know. I know a couple of months ago, one of my nieces saw my edges and said, "Why are you balding?" And it hurt my feelings. I just have thin edges. Some people's hair just looks different, and I think that, like, that could just be her hair. And then I saw some people saying, "Oh, it looks dirty. It looks unmoisturized." And I'm like, you guys, maybe our problem is we are not being exposed to a wide enough range of the kinkiest, coiliest natural hair. I have very, very coily, kinky hair that is low luster. Some people's hair just ain't shining. Okay. For about a month, I had those slicked back hairstyles, the half up, half down, and like the back. Do you know how much work it was to get my hair to look that slick and for it to stay looking shiny like that? I couldn't even do it myself. I don't know what type of training professional hairstylists get, what type of products they use, but there is no gel or hair polisher or oil sheen that I can use to get my hair to look super, it's hard. Some of us just don't have shiny hair, and not shiny hair does not mean dirty or damaged or unhealthy. It's just the way that our hair grows out. And I think a lot of us grown folks who say that we love natural hair and we love natural features, I think a lot of us are still, even in our natural state, we are still fighting against the way that our natural hair grows out of our heads, or fighting against the natural hair aesthetic that exists outside of what's on the natural hair pages, or, that was something that's not natural 85. Obviously we love Whitney and, but we ain't all working with that, what else do I hear? Oh, the other thing is, I think we don't know. I think that trying to assess the way that, the health of her hair, I don't know, maybe if you're a natural hair professional, maybe you can do it. But I also think that, like, that's the way that little girl's hair looks. She's still cute as a button. And isn't it possible that other little girls with maybe hair on the thinner side, or with, edges that look like that, isn't it possible that another little girl might be able to see her being celebrated and uplifted by that major corporation, and they might be able to feel affirmed? I think that is also useful. I think that sometimes we get so obsessed with positive representation. Our representation has to look a certain way that we box out other kinds of representation because you're embarrassed by it. But, like, doesn't everybody deserve to be able to, like, feel good and feel seen? Because like I said, everybody ain't walking out here with Amara La Negra's hair. It ain't that. Next thing. Oh, okay. So one of the big criticisms was that the hair looked messy, it looked unkempt, and I just have to why are we so obsessed with presentability? And I'll say I have to check myself with this too, with regards to the little girls that I interact with, my nieces, right? Like we're obsessed with brush it up and comb it up and gel it down, but children are often unkempt. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a normal state of childhood. And sometimes I do think about, with a little bit of, sadness and regret, the amount of time that maybe I spent as a kid worrying about hair out of place, not looking 100% presentable, when that energy and that effort, we should allow children the opportunity to be unburdened by all of that stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of us did have that placed on our shoulders from a really, really young age. And I think that the paradigm is changing. I think that some of those norms are shifting. And I think that is so exciting because it does become a burden, and we'll get to that later. But I just know that as a kid, I used to see so many white girls, white women talk about their messy buns, talk about their bedhead, and love it and think it was and they loved it and thought it was so cute and so chic. Or I would see in a magazine or on TV, a celebrity hairstylist would talk about doing their white celebrity client's hair. And then they would be like, and then we just gotta mess it up. We gotta muss it up. We wanna have flyaways. We wanna look like she just rolled out of bed, like she just got off the beach, right? And I always used to be like, wow, what a privilege. What a privilege it is that you are looking to look unkempt. What a privilege it is that your bedhead, that your messy hair, that your flyaways are deemed chic and fun and cute and cool. Meanwhile, I'm trying to keep the mirror around, trying to make sure that everything is gelled down and laid down and fried and dyed. It's different. And there is, the same way that we are now reconsidering or approaching the way that little girls dress in a different way. You don't always have to wear little saddle shoes. You don't always have to wear dresses or whatever, because we want them to be able to be mobile in their pants, in their tennis shoes. I think it's useful for us to reassess how we think about grooming little girls, to give them more freedom, so you don't have to spend recess trying not to sweat out your edges. Okay, what else? Yeah, I had one of my notes here is most Black girls are taught that we cannot embrace effortless beauty. What is effortless beauty? Okay, so I will say this is definitely a privilege thing, right? So Black girls with more African features, darker skin, kinkier, coilier textured hair, bigger bodies, right? Heavier bodies. We are taught, be hyper feminine, keep it snatched, right? Otherwise, any kind of mistreatment or whatever that comes your way is your fault. And I think it's really incumbent upon us as grown folks who know how dangerous that stuff is, to say, we're not doing it. It's something else. I think another thing is people just don't like 4C hair. That's just another, people just don't like kinky hair. They just don't want to see it. We spend so much time trying to tame it and wrestle it into submission and no, and all of these systems where it's no, your hair is actually curly. All you have to do is do these 7 steps and your curls will pop. And it's if you want to do the 7 steps, the 7-step hair routine, that's fine. But all of us ain't going, all of us ain't going, And do you remember, my other note on this was, I have a retainer in. So, do you remember when there was a lot of backlash against Wendy Williams for saying, Viola Davis has done so much. Viola Davis and Lupita Nyong'o has done so much to sorry, somebody said, can you guys hear me? Am I too loud? Okay, sorry. Viola Davis and Lupita Nyong'o have done so much to change our expectations of what kind of hair is glamorous, what type of hairstyles are appropriate for classy events, red carpet events. And Wendy Williams one time got on her show and said that Viola Davis, with her natural kinky coily hair out, that she just looked like she was coming from like a football field or something like that, something really nasty and self-hating. And it just comes down to the fact that, like, if a 3B, you can have loose hair out, whatever, and it's cool. But when we get into the 4s, people are like, you need to, what are you, and it's like, you know what, guys, at some point we got to be free, okay? I don't agree with Killer Mike on everything, but he said we're free, okay? Act like it. Okay, and we need to loose ourselves from those ridiculous expectations, and we have to stop trying to impose that on other people. So that's one side of it, okay? But there is another side, and when people are criticizing H&M, I don't think it's just about respectability. I've seen so many people just be like, you guys hate yourself and you guys need to let respectability politics go. I mean, yeah, but it's deeper than that. There's other stuff. And I think that sometimes we are really uncharitable to each other in the way that we are, slinging stuff back and forth. Because if you know history, then you know that there is a long history of big corporations, when they are representing Black folks, to be neglectful of our appearances. How many stories have we heard from models, from actresses who said, I had to bring my own foundation to set because the makeup artist didn't know what to do with my face, or I had to do my own hair because the hairstylist said they didn't know how to do black hair. That's like a trope now. And so it makes complete sense to me that if you see a little Black child in international, H&M is like Switzerland, Sweden, one of those countries, right? On an international website, and you see that her hair does not look as presentable as what you would expect from a professional fashion shoot, it's understandable that you would say, oh, that's a hairstylist with no cultural competency. It's completely, because history is on your side, right? We have so many instances where that's the case. And I also think that also could be the case here. I am actually not willing to, I think H&M capitalized on a moment, but I am not willing to say that we arrived at these images from H&M and they were trying to do the benevolent thing for Black girl representation. I don't know that. And I am more want to be skeptical than I am to just say, oh, you were trying to do a good thing for little Black girls with thin hair. No, I'm not sure about that. Oh, one of my notes is, do y'all remember not too long ago, there was a segment on like the Today Show, and it was like, there was like a Black woman, and it was like they were doing her hair live on the Today Show, and it just was like, no, it's understandable if like you see that girl's hair and you're like, oh, connecting all of those dots. I also think we have to keep in mind I have no problem with that little girl's hair in context, but if you are also assessing the history of white media, white supremacist media, intentionally depicting Black folks and particularly Black women as untidy, unkempt, undesirable, hair going every which way, if you know all of that stuff, we're all bringing all of that stuff, right? 400 years of misrepresentation, intentional misrepresentation to degrade us and demean us, to our interpretation of these images. I think another thing is, and I think this is an important thing, that a critical part of Black girl culture is hair. It's having your hair laid, having your hair be done. And that is not just about respectability. Because we often talk about the intricate ways that we do our hair and the adornments and the braids and the baubles and the beads and the bobos. That's not just a response to what white folks do. That goes back to the continent of Africa. And so I think a lot of us associate like an authentic Black girlhood, an authentic Black womanhood with having your hair be done. It's about ritual, it's intimacy, it's tradition. I years ago heard a historian named Dr. Blair Kelly. She was talking about the culture of Black hair and the ritual and all that. And she was talking about how seeing a little Black girl with her hair done, we associate that with being cared for, you know? We say, oh, somebody cared enough for you to say, come over here, let me sit you down between my legs and let's put the bobos on. Let's do the pigtails. Let's do the cornrows or whatever. It's a demonstration that you are loved and cared for. And I think that there is a, despite the fact that like anybody who has been around little Black girls knows that by the end of the day, the ponytails are undone, the hair is everywhere, you know, like that's just normal. But we still associate the idea of your hair is snatched up with, oh, somebody loves and cares for you. But gotta say, that culture of hair done, hair laid can also be oppressive. It can also inspire insecurity. I absolutely have experienced, you know, there's this thing where it's like, I never care about being ashy. You know, I don't care. I could go all day, okay, run 10 errands, and I'm ashy and I'm disheveled and my hair is looking crazy. I never care until I see another Black person. Because I know that that Black person, you know, I know that like we have a cultural norm that says, what you going through? What's going on? Okay. You didn't, are you going through something? You couldn't, you know, put a little lotion on? You couldn't put things together, right? We see each other and like there is that immediate judgment, and that is divorced from the white gaze, because I don't be caring. I don't care. What you gonna say to me if you white? White people don't even know what ash is. They don't even really know what my hair's supposed to look like. Okay. You know? And so I do think that there is like our intra-community standards can be I don't know, harmful. Particularly, I happen to be a very a femme woman who likes adornment and who likes hair and whatever. But particularly if you are less naturally feminine, I can definitely understand how it would be, you would feel judged and ostracized because it's just not the shit that you want to do. And yeah, so there's all of this cultural stuff. There's all the historical stuff. I understand it, but at the same time, kids can't carry the burden of 400 years of misrepresentation, you know? And so when it comes to my nieces in particular, I'm like, okay, girl, let's go. Okay, the ponytail holder came out, the edge is looking great. It's like, okay, whatever. I want to make sure that they don't have to do the unlearning and the learning of self-love that I had to do. I think we're in a great position to teach kids differently and to do things differently. And I think that despite the fact that I don't know if I trust H&M's motives on this, I don't trust it. I need to know what the stylists were looking like. I want to know what the expertise was. I want to know who greenlit these pictures. But I still think that there is an opportunity for this to be a good and helpful moment for particularly little Black girls. Because, we all ain't out here like that. That's all I have to say about that. Let us go to, someone gave money. Let's look about that. Let us go. Okay, whoops. Okay, well, I can't go back anymore. Sorry. Thanks if you gave money. Let's go to answering questions. I took my allergy medication, so I feel like I'm doing pretty good today. Do you have any Black men YouTubers that you would recommend? I like Adrian Expression. I watch his videos. I watch King of Reed's videos. I've watched a couple of Choice TV videos. I like any other Black, T1J. That's pretty much all yeah, that's it for me. Oh, his name is TJ1. Sorry. TJ1. Okay. Okay. When the pictures get taken, they'll show you immediately how it looks. Obviously, the parent probably saw the pics and found nothing wrong with it. It was all up to the parents, in my opinion. Yeah. And also, again, if the aesthetic of the little girl varied widely from the aesthetic of the other kids, that would be something else. But it's all the same. They all look messy. They all look ran down. It's just that messy 1A hair, even though I hate that fucking hair typing system, messy straight hair is much more acceptable to us than messy kinky hair. And even messy damaged straight hair. Okay. It's like, you think, when Britney was going through all that stuff and Britney was out here looking crazy, do you think she was shamed? She wasn't shamed. I mean, and when I say shamed, I mean ashamed. I don't think that she was ashamed. How do you feel about Black mothers forcing their children to put in relaxers? We're off that. If you're forcing the kid to do a relaxer in 2019, we need to have a talk. We're not doing that no more. Notice that the white community are not outraged at their own being represented with messy hair. Yes, we do notice that. It's different. There's a different standard. Let's just face it, people do not like 4C hair. They only like it if it's long and gelled up. If the girl has 3A curly hair, people would be like, oh, curly hair. Yeah. Yeah. We only like 3, I mean, we only like 4C hair if it's long. Yeah. And like thick. Okay. Let me go ahead and block some people. Remove. I think so. The saying that tight, coily hair should not be in ponytails. I mean, do I think a ponytail was the best option? No, but there are other images of her modeling for H&M where her hair is out and down. Maybe she just wanted to have a ponytail. I know when I was younger, I used to have to beg my mom. Just one ponytail. Why do we have to do 6 ponytails? Why can't I just do one ponytail? I never got that one ponytail. Never got it. But yeah. Thank you, Kamiko. Somebody before that gave. How do you feel about moms forcing their child to get braids, like braids with extensions? I'm wary of it. I'm wary of putting extensions in children's hair. I'm wary is the right word. I'm wary of straightening kids' hair, putting any kind of extensions in. But, I ain't got no kids. Okay? So do whatever you want. I just don't think it, I had braids when I was little, like super, super little. In fact, I could get the picture that I have from my kindergarten where I literally have braids like this. I mean, not like this, but braids. And I do think that it does teach you, I don't know, not great lessons about long hair is best and you want to be able to swing your hair around and, I don't know. I'm very wary of like accidentally giving kids the wrong idea about what is beautiful. It's just so easy. Because I know I just picked up all kinds of bullshit. I will never, I'm sorry, I would never say who does my hair in public because that gives away too many clues about where I actually live. So if you want to message me in private and ask me who does my hair, I will gladly tell you that, but I can't say that on here. But thank you so much. Favorite hair products to use? I use whatever is in there. I'm very, very lazy when it comes to hair. People send me stuff and that's what I use. I've heard braiding causes damage and balding. Is that true? It certainly can be true. But it can also be true that braids give your hair a break from everyday manipulation. I wear braids and twists because I am lazy. People should teach their children good hair is combed hair and texture doesn't matter. I agree. Let kids be kids. Why are we even judging children's appearance so harshly? I agree. This is one of the ways young Black girls learn to bully each other, the hair and the clothes. It's also how we signify internal class differences, which often also reflects colorism. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think that the hair done stuff and it is definitely a way to signal class. Totally. But on the other hand, I don't know. The people I know who have their hair and who keep hair and nails done are not always the richest. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like from community to community it differs. Yeah. Because let's be honest, we all know some rich people with hair not always looking, runway ready, you know. So yeah, I think it's like about the community that you come from and the expectations in that community. Seja says, how do you balance the two though? I understand that hair is important, but is there a fine line where taking care of yourself gets into respectability? Sure. Um, I think it's hard. First of all, I can't tell you what the line is. Okay. But I'll just say I don't give advice. I just am against giving advice. But I'll say that for me, I always try to keep in mind, what do you want, Kim? Why are you doing this? Well, who are you doing it for? I always have to ask myself. And I think maybe it's different for me because I'm like on camera a lot and maybe it's like a little bit different. But like, yeah, it definitely is it's a thin freaking line. But I just want us to get to a point where Black women, Black girls don't feel coerced, you know? So if you like it, you like it. But like, if it's not your thing, if you would rather spend your time doing something other than hair, then hopefully we can get to a point where, you're not getting side eyes and all that kind of stuff. Or even if you are getting side eyes, that you have the mental wherewithal, the psychological strength to just be like, fuck you. It's hard. It's hard. To be honest, the hair done rhetoric is somewhat anti-black. Every time I would take my braids down and wear my 4C puff ponytail, I'm always asked by family, when will you get your hair done? I mean, yeah. Yeah. So like, it's a tough balance because I do think like it is a part of our culture, and I have jokingly said that like you can tell Black women who have lots of Black women friends from Black women who maybe don't hang out with a lot of Black women by what their hair is looking like. But that's problematic on my end. That probably is. It's judgmental on my end. Uh, but we do need to get to a point, there is an expectation that if you are Black and you're hanging out with Black people and you gonna see Black people, that you're gonna do something with your hair. But all of us don't want to do something with our hair. All of us don't have the means, the funds to do it, the time. If you ask me, the bigger issue is H&M, not the girl. They already showed that they aren't sensitive to Black people with that sweatshirt issue a while back. Sure, but what if H&M really did think that they were putting all the girls on an equal plane by saying just come in however, I'm of two minds about this. I don't know. On one hand, I do think let the girl do whatever. On the other hand, I do think that this could also be a byproduct of like color blindness, like white corporate color blindness, where it doesn't matter. We're all just people. Hair is hair. I don't know. Some of the richest Black women I've met had terrible hairdos. That is a true story. It's a true story. I think that it is, if you are not receiving a lot of input about your hair all the time, it's easier to just do whatever you want. And I think that, oh, never mind. I'm not even going to tell this story because it's too judgy. But, you know, do what you want. People are saying names. How you define, okay. How you define a mess is key. A lot of people's so-called mess is often just 4C hair in its most natural state. A mess is subjective, and it's critical to examine why you deem it so. Yes, I agree with that. I think if they wanted the unkempt look, the white chillin' would have had oily hair. I mean, how do you know that the hair wasn't? It didn't look visibly oily, but it just looked like they had been running outside all day. They all look to me equally unkempt. Okay. Chemical Beck says, I'm glad you don't use the hair typing system, Kim. It reinforces superiority and inferiority by grading alphanumerically. 1A equals good grade, 4C equals bad grade. Totally. Whoever came up with that hair typing system, go back to the drawing board. Because it is descriptive, but it is also hierarchical. Okay, you inadvertently just reinforce the shit that we trying to get away from. And then it's so interesting that even as we are embracing our natural hair, transitioning into the natural hair community, then we got to reinforce the hierarchy by saying, well, my hair's not 3A, it's 4C. Why couldn't I have 3B hair? Why do I have to have 4C hair? My hair's not 4C, it's 4Z. And it's just like, we are to ourselves while trying to empower ourselves, reinforcing this idea that we're lower down the totem pole. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Okay. Madam C.J. Walker is beloved for a reason. Madam C.J. Walker is beloved for getting rich. And she's gotten a lot of shit. Okay. I'm mixed and I notice some black people give me a heart. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, I'm sorry. Mixed people, we're not doing that. This is not the time to center mixed people feelings. Okay? Okay. Got it? Love ya, but we're not doing that today. Oh, a white man came up with the hair typing system. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, whoever said I look good with my glasses. Thank you. Shout out to Warby Parker. It's so good to be able to see. It's great. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to be done here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you enormously. Let me just do one more round to see if there's anything else I missed. I think that's it. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. I will see you next time. Bye.